Discover the hidden side of Vietnam, where mystery and beauty meet. Every moment tells a story.
Vietnam carries a strange kind of beauty when the sun disappears. The alleys grow quiet, the streetlights turn soft and golden, and the distant hum of motorbikes fades into the night, until it feels like the entire city is holding its breath. But when the world finally sleeps, something else begins to move. Stories whispered from one generation to the next, legends that never die, shadows that seem to follow their own rules. And no matter how modern the streets become, these stories cling to them, like echoes that refuse to fade. Tonight, you will hear some of the most haunting urban legends in Vietnam. Stories people claim are nothing more than rumors, yet somehow they survive, they evolve, they wait, as if they're watching the newcomers to see who will be the next one to believe. Welcome to the unseen side of Vietnam. Welcome to the stories the city tells in the dark.
Welcome to Vietnam.
There is a legend shared in many buildings across the country. A story about an elevator that opens by itself. Not during the day. Not when people are coming home from work. But around 2 or 3 in the morning, when the hallways are empty, and even the guards are fighting sleep. They say the elevator sometimes rings, and the doors slide open on their own. No footsteps outside, no finger on the button, just an open doorway, waiting, inviting, as if it expects someone to step in. One guard in Hanoi remembers that moment vividly. He heard the bell. He walked over. The elevator had stopped at the 4th floor, a floor locked years ago. No residents, no lights, nothing. He checked the security camera, hoping to reassure himself it was just a malfunction. But what he saw made his hands go cold. When the doors opened, a thin shape stood silently in the corner of the cabin. A dark figure, still, unmoving. And when the doors closed, it vanished without a trace. People asked him if it was just a glitch. He never gave a straight answer. He only said, with a quiet, uneasy smile, "A glitch doesn't look like a person." Since that night, the guards keep an unwritten rule. If the elevator opens at 3 in the morning, don't look inside, and don't take a single step toward it.
Chào mừng đến với Việt Nam.
Drivers traveling Vietnam's long, empty highways share another chilling tale. A story about a girl in a white dress. Some say she's young, some say she's older. But everyone agrees on one detail. She appears where the road is silent, and the night is too dark for comfort. A truck driver in Long An once told what he saw. He was driving alone past midnight, the road stretching endlessly in front of him. The only light came from his truck's headlights carving through the darkness. Then she appeared. A woman in a white dress standing on the side of the road. Her hair covered most of her face. Her arms hung loosely by her sides. He slowed down, instinctively trying to understand what he was seeing. But as he drove past her, she vanished, not stepped back, not run, simply disappeared. His breath tightened. He checked the rearview mirror. At first, the road behind him was empty, but then she was there. Standing in the middle of the road, facing his truck, motionless, watching him disappear into the night. The next morning, when other drivers asked if he had been drinking, he shook his head. "I wish I had been," he said, because seeing that while completely sober is much worse. Since then, drivers have passed down a warning in low voices. If you see someone alone on the highway at night, do not stop. Do not turn your head. And never open your door for anyone.
Welcome to Vietnam.
There is another story, whispered among students who live in rented rooms. A story about knocking. Knocking that happens at the same time, every time. 3 in the morning. One student in Da Nang experienced it firsthand. He was studying late, the night completely still around him. Then 3 knocks on his door. Soft, rhythmic, perfectly spaced. He thought it was a neighbor. He asked who was outside. No answer. He looked through the peephole. The hallway was empty. But the knocking continued. Gentle, steady, as if whoever was doing it knew exactly where he stood. Confused, he checked the building's group chat. No one was awake. No one was outside. Later, the security guard pulled up the hallway camera footage, and what they saw was far worse than someone playing a prank. At the exact moment the knocks were heard, there was no one outside his door. No figure. No person. No shadow. His own shadow? Stretching across the metal surface of the door. And it was moving, knocking, while he stood frozen inside his room. Ever since that night, the residents agreed on a rule. If someone knocks at 3 in the morning, stay silent, stay still, and do not go near the door. Urban legends are not meant to frighten you without reason. They remind you that even in a city full of light and life, some stories cannot be explained. Some moments slip through the cracks of reality and become something else. Maybe these tales are only rumors, maybe just coincidences, or maybe they are fragments of a world that exists right beside ours, quiet, hidden, waiting for the perfect moment to be noticed. Believe them or don't. It doesn't matter, because these stories will continue to be told. They will continue to move from voice to voice, place to place, night to night. And when darkness falls again, and the city grows quiet, you might hear something in the distance. A knock, a whisper, a bell, and you will wonder, was that really just the wind? And just when you think the night is over, there's a feeling. A presence that lingers in the corner of your vision. A shadow that moves too perfectly with the light. A whisper that fades when you turn to listen. Vietnam's streets, alleys, and buildings, they remember. And some say that the stories themselves watch, waiting to see who will listen, who will follow, who will believe. So when the city sleeps and the lanterns glow faintly, and your own shadow stretches across the floor, remember these stories and walk carefully. If you want to hear more of Vietnam's secrets, the tales that the city doesn't openly tell, then stay with us. Subscribe to Beyond Vietnam Stories and turn on notifications, because in the dark, the city is always speaking. And we'll be here, listening, sharing, guiding you through the unseen side of Vietnam.
Do not forget to like and subscribe to catch the next stories.